In this question it is given that a man buys 35 kgs of sugar and he sets a mark price which is 20% more than the cost price. So let us assume that the cost price of 1 kg of sugar is equal to rupees 100. He bought 35 kgs, so the total cost price is equal to 3500. Now he marked it up by 20%. So what is the mark price? The mark price is rupees 120, which is 20% more than rupees 100, and he sells 5 kgs at this price. So what is the amount of money that he made from this 5 kgs? It will be equal to 5 into 120, which is equal to 600 rupees. And he sold 15 kgs at a discount of 10%. If he is giving a discount of 10% on 120, what is the selling price? The selling price will be equal to 120 into 1 minus 10%, that is equal to 90%. This is equal to 108. So at 108 rupees per kg, he sold 15 kgs. And what is the total amount of money he would make from it? That is 15 into 108, that is equal to 1620. Accidentally 3 kgs was wasted. So these 3 kgs he sold essentially, or he made no money out of it. So this is equal to 0. And he sells the remaining sugar by raising the mark price by p%. What is the remaining amount of sugar? That is 35 minus 5 minus 15 minus 3. The total amount of sugar that is sold or accidentally lost is 15 plus 5, that is 20, plus 3, that is 23. So there are 12 kgs remaining. Let us assume that the selling price of this 12 kgs is S. So the total amount of money he made is 12S. One thing that we need to note is that S is equal to the mark price, that is 120, and then which is increased by p%. That is S is equal to 120 into 1 plus p%. We'll first figure out the value of S, then we can calculate the value of P. We are also told that the overall profit that he made is 15%. So the total selling price is equal to 3500 into 1 plus 15%. You can use your calculator to calculate that. This is equal to 4025. So 4025 is equal to 600 plus 1620 plus 12S, or 12S plus 600 plus 1620 is equal to 4025, or you can cancel 600 and this becomes equal to 3425. Then you can cancel 1620 and this becomes equal to 1805, or the value of S is equal to 1805 divided by 12, which is very close to 150 rupees. So the selling price of the remaining sugar is 150 rupees. This is p% greater than the initial mark price. So 150 is equal to 120 into 1 plus p%. 150 divided by 120 is 125%, that is 1.25 is equal to 1 plus p%, or p% is equal to 25%, or the value of p is equal to 25. In this question it is given that there are two railway stations A and B which are 90 kilometers apart. So we have two stations A and B, and the distance between both of them is given. This is say A and this is B. The distance between them is 90 kilometers. Now we are told that a train leaves A at 9 am. So this is starting at 9 am and its speed is 40 kilometers per hour. Another train starts at B at 10:30 am and it is going towards A at 20 kilometers per hour. The trains meet each other at what time? That is what we are asked to figure out. One of the trains starts at 9 am and the other starts at 10:30 am. So let us try to assess where both the trains are at 10:30 am. At 10:30 am, the second train is still at B, and the first train would have traveled for 1.5 hours at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. So the distance it would have traveled is 1.5 hours into 40, which is equal to 60 kilometers. So it would have covered this 60 kilometers and it would have been here at 10:30 am. And at that time, the distance between both of them will be 90 minus 60, which is equal to 30 kilometers. So at 10:30 am, one train is going towards B at 40 kilometers per hour, and the other train is starting from B and it is going towards at 20 kilometers per hour. So the relative velocity is 40 plus 20, which is equal to 60 kilometers per hour, because they are coming towards each other. And the distance between them is 30 kilometers. So the time it takes for them to meet will be 30 divided by 60, which is equal to 1/2 hours or 30 minutes. This is 30 minutes after 10:30. So the total time or the time at which they meet will be 10:30 plus 30 minutes, which is equal to 11 o'clock. So both the trains meet for the first time at 11 a.m. In this question, we are told that there are three friends, Anil, Sunil and Ravi, and they are running around a circular path. The length of the track is 3 kilometers. So let us assume that this is the circular track and all three of them have started from the same point, and they are all running in the clockwise direction. The speed of Anil is 15 kilometers per hour. And the length of the track is 3 kilometers. So after how much time will Anil complete one revolution? That will be equal to 3 by 15 hours, which is 1 by 5 hours, which is equal to 12 minutes. Similarly, the speed of Sunil is 10 kilometers per hour. So how much time will Sunil take to complete one revolution? That will be equal to 3 by 10 hours. That is 3 by 10 into 60 minutes, which is equal to 18 minutes. Similarly, Ravi's speed is 8 kilometers per hour. We are asked to find out how much distance Ravi will cover before Anil and Sunil meet again for the first time at the starting point. After every 12 minutes, Anil reaches the starting point, and after every 18 minutes, Sunil will reach the starting point. So at what time do they both meet at the starting point? That will be the LCM of 12 and 18, which is equal to 36 minutes. So after 36 minutes, both of them, that is Anil and Sunil, will be at the starting point. You can even visualize this, that Anil will be at the starting point after 12 minutes, then after 24 minutes, and then after 36 minutes. Similarly, Sunil will be at the starting point after 18 minutes and after 36 minutes. So at 36 minutes, both Anil and Sunil will be at the starting point. And in this 36 minutes, how much distance does Ravi run? That will be equal to 36 divided by 60 hours into 8. This is 6 by 10. So this will equal 48 by 10, which is equal to 4.8 kilometers. That is the answer. In this question, we are told that the distance from B to C is thrice the distance from A to B. So let us try to draw all the three cities. So suppose all of them are in a straight line like this. This is A, and you have B over here, and you have C over here. Let the distance between A to B be equal to S. Therefore, the distance between B to C will be equal to 3S. Now, two trains travel from A to C and they travel via B. This train of speed train 2 is double that of train 1 while traveling from A to B. So you have train 1 and you have train 2. Initially, when they are traveling from A to B, the speed of train 2 is double that of train 1. So let us assume that the speed of train 2 is 2x over here and the speed of train 1 is x. Now their speeds interchange when they are traveling from B to C. So now from B to C, the speed of train 1 will be equal to 2x and the speed of train 2 will be equal to x. The ratio of the time taken by train 1 to that of train 2 while traveling from A to C, that is the total time, is asked. So let us calculate the total time taken by train 1 first. For train 1, when it is traveling from A to B, that is for the first s kilometers, its speed is x kilometers. So the time it takes is s divided by x. And from B to C, that is a distance of 3s, its speed is 2x. So the time it takes is 3s by 2x. Or overall, you can take s by x common. This will be equal to 1 plus 3 by 2, or this is equal to 5 by 2 into s by x. This is the total time that it has taken train 1. If you are doing the same thing for train 2, to go from A to B, that is for the first s kilometers, its speed is 2x. So the time it takes is s divided by 2x. And for B to C, that is for 3s, its speed is x kilometers per hour. So the total time it takes is 3s divided by x. Again, we will take s by x common. So this is equal to 1 by 2 plus 3. 3 plus 1 by 2 is 3, 1 by 2 is 7 by 2. So this is equal to 7 by 2 into s by x. Now if you are taking the ratio of 5 by 2 into s by x and 7 by 2 into s by x, the required ratio after cancelling the common terms will be equal to 5:7. That is the ratio of the times taken by train 1 to train 2. In this question, it is given that John takes twice as much time as Jack to finish his job. So let us assume that there is John and there is Jack. if Jack is doing 2 units of work every day, the amount of work done by John in one single day will be 1 unit. It is also given that Jack and Jim together, Jim is another person, they take 1/3 of the number of days that is taken by John to finish the job. This would imply that Jack and Jim are 3 times as efficient as John alone. So the amount of work that is done by Jack and Jim together will be 3 units of work per day. But out of these 3 units, Jack alone will do 2 units. So the work done by Jim alone will be 1 unit of work per day. It is also given that John takes 3 days more as compared to all 3 of them working together to finish the job. So if you assume that the total work that needs to be done is equal to say n units, the time taken by John will be n days, because that is n divided by the units of work he does in one single day. And the amount of work done by Jack will be n divided by 2 units of work that he is going to do every day. Now if all 3 of them are working together, John plus Jack plus Jim, what is the total units of work that they do in one single day? It will be 1 plus 2 plus 1, so that is 4 units of work per day. So what is the number of days that they will take to finish the job? It will be n divided by 4. What is told to us is that n minus n by 4 is equal to 3. Or this would imply that 3n by 4 is equal to 3, or the value of n is equal to 4. So the total units of work that needs to be done is 4 units. We are required to find out the number of days that it takes Jim to finish this job. In one day, Jim does 1 unit of work. There is a total of 4 units. So Jim alone will finish the work in 4 days. In this question, it is mentioned that for the same principal amount, the compound interest for 2 years at 5% per annum exceeds the simple interest for 3 years at 3% per annum by 1125, and we are required to calculate the principal amount. So let us first calculate the compound interest. Let us assume that the principal is P in both the cases. And what is the compound interest for 2 years at 5% per annum? The compound interest will be equal to P into 1 plus R by 100, that is 5 by 100 whole square minus P. P into 1 plus 5 by 100 whole square will be the amount, and if you subtract the principal from it, you will get the compound interest. This is equal to P into 1 plus 5 by 100 is 1 plus 1 by 20, which is equal to 21 by 20 whole square. So that is 21 by 20 into 21 by 20 minus P. This is equal to 441 by 400 P minus P. This is equal to 41 P by 400. So the compound interest for 2 years at a compound interest rate of 5% per annum will equal 41 P by 400 when the principal is P. And what is the simple interest for 3 years at 3% per annum? The simple interest will be equal to P into R, which is 3, into the time period, which is also 3, divided by 100. So this will equal 9P by 100. What we are told is that 41P by 400 minus 9P by 100 is equal to 1125, or 41P by 400 minus 9P by 100 is equal to 1125. 41P by 400 minus 9P by 100 will be equal to 5P by 400. This is equal to 1125. You can cancel 5, you can divide 1125 by 5, this will equal 225. So the value of P is equal to 225 into 400, which will equal 90,000. So the principal amount will be 90,000.
Google search Cracku free CAT mock. Click on the first link. You can attempt a free mock test which was attempted by 30,000 CAT aspirants in the actual exam format. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis and percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance. Click on the solution to get video solutions from our expert faculty.
In this question, it is told that car A beats car B by 45 kilometers in a car race. Let us assume that the length of the race is equal to say S kilometers. Therefore, by the time A travels s kilometers, what is the distance traveled by B? B travels the entire distance except for 45 kilometers at the end. So, the distance traveled by B will be equal to s minus 45 kilometers. So, in the same time that A has traveled s kilometers, B has traveled s minus 45 kilometers, or the ratio of the speeds of A and B, or A by B, is equal to s by s minus 45. We are also told that B beats C by 50 kilometers. So, using the same logic, the ratio of the speed of B by the ratio of the speed of C is equal to s divided by s minus 50. And car A beats car C by 90 kilometers. So, again by the same logic, the ratio of the speed of A by C is equal to s by s minus 90. We are required to calculate the distance of the race, or the value of s. So, we know that A by C is s by s minus 90. But if you multiply the first equation and the second equation, the left hand side will become equal to A by B into B by C, which is equal to A by C, or A by C is also equal to s by s minus 45 into s by s minus 50. This should equal s by s minus 90. So, this is one equation and one unknown. So, if you solve for this, we will get the value of s. So, we can cancel s on both sides. So, this would imply that s into s minus 90 is equal to s minus 45 into s minus 50. We can expand the left hand side. This will equal s square minus 90s is equal to s square minus 95s plus 45 into 50. We can cancel s square on both sides, and if you bring 95s to the other side, this will become equal to 5s is equal to 45 into 50, or the value of s is equal to 45 into 10, which is equal to 450 kilometers. This is the length of the race. In this question, we are told that a sum of money is split between Amal, Sunil and Mita such that the ratio of the shares of Amal and Sunil is 3:2. So, we have Amal and Sunil. Let us assume that Amal received 3x, then Sunil would have received 2x. While the ratio of the shares of Sunil and Mita, there is beta also, their shares are in the ratio 4:5. So, this is 4 and 5. So, let us assume that Sunil has received 4y, then Mita would have received 5y. You want to make the ratio of the shares of Sunil to be the same, that is 2x is equal to 4y, or you can figure out that x is equal to 2y. This would imply that Amal's share, which is 3x, is actually equal to 6y, 2x will equal 4y, and then there is 5y, or basically the ratio of the shares, if you are combining the two ratios, is 6:4:5. We are also told that the difference between the largest and the smallest of these three shares is 400. The largest is Amal, which is 6y, and the smallest is Sunil, which is 4y, or the value of 6y minus 4y is equal to 400, or the value of 2y is equal to 400, which implies that y is equal to 200. Therefore, the value of Sunil's share, which is equal to 4y, will equal 800. In this question, we are told that A and B are 2 points on a straight line. So, let us assume that these are the 2 points A and B. This is A and this is B. Now, Ram is running from A towards B and Rahim is running from B towards A. Now, after crossing each other, both of them reach their destinations in 1 and 4 minutes respectively. So, let us assume that they meet at a point C. Ram continues to run towards B and Rahim will continue to run towards A. But Ram will take 1 minute and Rahim will take 2 minutes. If they start at the same time, we are required to calculate the ratio of Ram's speed to Rahim's speed. Let us assume that Ram's speed is x and Rahim's speed is y. Let us also assume that the initial time that it has taken before both of them met is equal to t. Therefore, what is the value of AC? AC is the distance Ram has covered in t hours, so it will be x into t. Similarly, what is the distance BC? BC is the distance that Rahim has travelled in t hours, so it will be equal to y into t. But another way to look at BC is that BC is the distance that Ram has travelled in 1 minute. So, this is also equal to x into t by x into 1 by 60, because this is the distance that Ram has run in 1 minute. Similarly, another way to look at AC is that this is the distance run by Rahim in 4 minutes, not 2 minutes. It is the distance run by Rahim in 4 minutes. So the length of AC is equal to y into 4 by 60. So x into t is equal to y into 4 by 60. Y into t is equal to x into 1 by 60. We are required to calculate the ratio of x by y. So what we'll do is we'll divide one equation by the other equation. So the left hand side becomes equal to xt divided by yt, which is equal to x by y. This is equal to the right hand side, which will equal 4y divided by x, because the denominator 60 will get cancelled on both sides. So now if you cross multiply, you are going to get that x square by y square is equal to 4, or the value of x by y is equal to 2. So the ratio of their speeds is equal to 2. In this question, we are told that there are two circular tracks, T1 and T2. So this is T1 and this is T2. The radius of T1 is 100 meters and the radius of T2 is 20 meters. Both of them meet at a point called A, and from both of these points, Ram and Rahim start walking on the tracks T1 and T2. So in this track T1, Ram is walking, and in T2, Rahim is walking. The speeds of both of them is given. Ram is walking at 15 kilometers per hour and Rahim is walking at 5 kilometers per hour. We are asked to find out the number of rounds that Ram will make before he meets Rahim again for the first time. So let us try to identify how much time Ram is going to take to finish one round, because if they are meeting at any point, that point has to be A, which is the only point of intersection. So Ram will complete one round in 2 pi r, which is the circumference of T1, which is 2 into pi into the radius is 100, divided by his speed, which is 15 kilometers per hour. We'll convert that into meter per second. So this is equal to 2 pi into 18 by 5 into 100 divided by 15. 100 divided by 15 is equal to 20 by 3. For the sake of this question, we need not simplify 2 pi into 18 by 5. So let us consider that to be equal to a constant k. So Ram will complete one round in 20 by 3 k seconds. Similarly, one round will be completed by Rahim. This is Ram. In how much time? By the same logic, it will be 2 into pi into the radius of T2 is 20 meters divided by his speed is 5 into 5 by 18. This is again equal to 2 pi into 18 by 5 into 20 divided by 5, that is equal to 4. As we have said earlier, let us consider this number, that is 2 pi into 18 by 5, to be the constant k. So this will equal 4k seconds. So Ram is going to complete his first round after 20 by 3k. He will complete the second round after 40 by 3k seconds, and he will complete the third round after 20 by 3 into 3, that is 20k seconds. So now let us look at Rahim's completion of his rounds. He will complete the first round after 4k, he will complete the second round after 8k, he will complete the third round after 12k, he will complete the fourth round after 16k, and he will complete the fifth round after 20k. So if you see the list of numbers in both the series, the first overlap occurs at 20k seconds. So both of them meet at 20k seconds, and by this time, how many rounds did Ram complete? Ram has completed 1, 2 and 3 rounds. So the correct answer is 3. In this case, because of some ambiguity in the phrasing, CAT has given both 2 as well as 3 as the correct answer, but in our opinion, the more appropriate answer is 3. In this question, we are told that Anil bought 12 toys and marked each one of them at the same selling price. So let us assume that the mark price of each toy is equal to M, and out of this he sells 8 toys at a discount of 20%. So out of this 12 toys, 8 of them he sold at a selling price of 0.8 M because he gave a discount of 20%. And then the remaining 4 toys he sold at an additional discount of 25%. So what is the final selling price of these 4 toys? It will be 0.8 M into 0.75, which is equal to 0.6 M. So 8 toys he sold at 0.8 M, and the 4 remaining toys he sold at 0.6 M. Now overall he gets a total of 2,112 rupees, which makes a profit of 10%. So if you are calculating what is the total amount that he has received, it will be 8 into 0.8, which is equal to 6.4 M, and 4 into 0.6 M, which is equal to 2.4 M. This is equal to 8.8 M. This we are told is equal to 2112. or the value of m is equal to 2112 divided by 8.8. You can calculate this, or you can write 8.8 as into 10 and divided by 88. You can divide the numerator and denominator by 11, so this will become equal to 8 and this will become equal to 192. This is equal to 24 times 8. So the marked price is rupees 240. This was what he originally wanted to sell before giving any of these discounts. We are also told that 2112 he made a profit of 10%. So we can also calculate the cost price. What is the cost price? If the selling price is 2112 and this gave him a profit of 10%, the cost price of the 12 toys will be 2112 divided by 1.1, or this is equal to 2112 into 10 divided by 11. This is again equal to 192. This is equal to 1920. 1920 is the cost price of 12 toys. So what is the cost price of one toy? It will be 1920 divided by 12. 1920 divided by 12 will equal 160. So the cost price of a toy is equal to 160. He initially marked it at 240, but then he gave some discounts. What we are required to find out is, without any of these discounts, what is the percentage of profit. So if you had sold a toy which cost him 160 rupees at a price of 240 rupees, the profit would have been 240 minus 160, which is equal to 80. To calculate the profit percentage, you divide it by the cost price and multiply by 100. So this will be equal to 1 by 2 into 100, which is equal to 50%. So the correct answer is 50. In this question, we are told that there are two trains which cross each other in 14 seconds when traveling in opposite directions. So let us assume that this is the first train and this is the second train. Now let us assume that the first one is the faster train. We are told that it crosses a pole, it is 160 meters long, so this is 160 meters, and it will cross a person or a lamp post in 12 seconds. So the speed of this train is 160 divided by 16, 160 divided by 12, because it crosses the lamp post in 12 seconds. This is equal to 40 by 3 meter per second. We are told that the slower train is 6 kilometers per hour lesser. Now we have to convert meter per second into kilometers per hour. Whenever you are looking to convert meter per second into kilometers per hour, you have to multiply it by 18 by 5. So if you are multiplying 40 by 3 into 18 by 5, this is its speed. 40 by 3 into 18 by 5, this is 6 and this is 8. This is equal to 48 kilometers per hour. That is the speed of the faster train. So the speed of the slower train will be 42 kilometers per hour. If you are trying to convert kilometers per hour into meter per second, you have to multiply it by 5 by 18. So 42 into 5 by 18, this will be 7 and this is 3, will be equal to 35 by 3 meter per second. Let the length of this train be equal to L. We know that both the trains completely cross each other in exactly 14 seconds. So the total distance traveled by them combined will be L plus 160, and their relative speed is 40 by 3 plus 35 by 3, which is equal to 75 by 3 into the time taken is 14 seconds. 75 by 3 is 25. 25 into 14 is equal to 350. So the value of the length will be equal to 190 meters. That is the length of the slower train. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that Anu, Vinu and Manu take 15, 12 and 20 days respectively to finish a particular job. So we have Anu takes 15 days. We have Vinu takes 12 days. And Manu takes 20 days. We are given the time that is taken by each one of them to finish the work. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the LCM of 15, 12 and 20. What is the LCM of 15, 12 and 20? That is equal to 60 units. So in one day, the amount of work done by Anu will be 60 divided by 15, which is 4. In one day, the amount of work done by Vinu is 60 units divided by 12 days, which is 5. And in one day, the amount of work done by Manu will be 60 divided by 20, which is equal to 3. But we are told that all three of them don't work every day. Only Vinu works every day. So on the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, eighth day, all of these days the only person who works is Vinu, and every day she is going to complete 5 units of work. And on odd days, Anu works. So Anu works on the first day, Anu works on the third day, Anu works on the fifth day, Anu works on the seventh day, and so on. And on the even days, Manu works. Manu works on alternate days starting from the second day. So Manu works here on the second day, on the fourth day, on the sixth day, on the eighth day, and so on. So what is the total amount of work done on the first day? Vinu does 5 units of work and Anu does 4 units of work. So on the first day, the amount of work done is 9. On the second day, Vinu does 5 units and Manu does only 3 units. So the amount of work done is 8. On the third day again 9, on the fourth day again 8, on the fifth day again 9, on the sixth day again 8, on the seventh day again 9, and so on. So after the first day 9 units of work is done, after the second day 17 units of work is done, after the third day 17 plus 9, that is 26 units of work is done, after the fourth day 26 plus 8, that is 34 units of work is done, after the fifth day 34 plus 9, that is 43 units of work is done, after the sixth day 43 plus 8, so 51 units of work is done, and after the seventh day 51 plus 9, that is 60 units of work is done, which is the total amount of work that needs to be done. So the total number of days it takes to finish the job in this particular work order is 7 days. In this question, we are told that the amount of money that Neeta and Geeta earn in one day is equal to the amount of money that Sita earns in 6 days. So n plus g is equal to 6s, and the amount that Sita and Neeta earn in one day is equal to the amount that Geeta earns in 2 days. So this is equal to 2g. We are asked to calculate the ratio of the daily earnings of the person who earns the most to the person who earns the least. This ratio is what we are required to calculate. If you are looking at the first two equations, if you multiply the second equation by 6, you are going to get that 6s plus 6n is equal to 12g. But the value of 6s is n plus g. So n plus g plus 6n is equal to 12g, or 7n is equal to 11g, or the value of n is equal to 11 by 7g. Now if you substitute that in the first equation, you are going to get that 11 by 7g plus g is equal to 6s, or the value of 18 by 7g is equal to 6s, or the value of s is equal to 3 by 7g. So if you assume that g is equal to 7k for some value of k, the value of n will be 11k because n is 11 by 7g, and the value of s is equal to 3k because s is equal to 3 by 7g. So the highest is n and the least is s, and the ratio of n is to s is 11 is to 3. So the required answer is option C. In this question, we are told that onion is sold for 5 consecutive months and the rate at which it was sold per kg was rupees 10, rupees 20, rupees 25, rupees 25, and rupees 50. The amount spent for the first 3 months was fixed, and the amount spent for the remaining 2 months was half of that original amount. So let us assume that the fixed amount that was spent on the first 3 months is 100f. This is also 100f. This is also 100f. And for the remaining 2 months, half of this amount was spent. So it would be 50f and 50f. So the total amount that is spent is 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 50 plus 50. So the total amount is equal to 400f. And what is the total amount of onions that were bought? It is 100f by 10, which is 10f, 100f by 20, which is 5f, 100f by 25, which is 4f, 50f by 25, which is 2f, and 50f by 50, which is f. This is the number of kgs of onions bought on each of these respective months. So the total number of onions that were bought, the weight, will be 10F plus 5F plus 4F plus 2F plus F, which is 22F. So the cost of onion per kg on an average across these 5 months will be 400 divided by 22, which is equal to 200 divided by 11. 200 divided by 11 will be approximately equal to 18.18. This is the price, average price per kg. If you are looking at the options, the closest one is 18 rupees. So that will be the answer. In this question, we are told that Amal purchased some pens at rupees 8 and then he has hired an employee at a fixed wage. Let us assume that the number of pens bought is equal to n. So the total cost price or the total expense that Amal has incurred will be equal to 8n plus the wage of the employee, which we assume is equal to f. So this is the total cost price. In the first case, he sells 100 of these at 12 rupees per pen and the remaining at 11 per pen. So the first selling price, the total selling price 1 is equal to 12 into 100 plus how many pens are remaining? It will be n minus 100 into 11. This is the first selling price. This is the total revenue that he makes in the first case. And in the second case, he sells the first 100 pens at 12 and the remaining pens, that is n minus 100 pens, at rupees 9. So the revenue differs. So if you are simplifying the total revenue in the first case, this will be equal to 11n plus 100. And in the second case, this is equal to 9n plus 300. We are told that in the first case, he makes a profit of 300. So 11n plus 100, which is the revenue in the first case, is equal to 8n plus f plus 300. And he makes a loss of 300 in the second case. So 9n plus 300, which is the revenue he makes in the second case, is equal to 8n plus f minus 300. So we have two equations and two unknowns, n and f. We are required to calculate the value of the wage of the employee. So we are required to calculate the value of f. If you are simplifying the first equation, we are going to get that 3n is equal to f plus 200. And in the second case, we are going to get that n is equal to f minus 600. We are required to calculate the value of f. So we are going to substitute the value of n in the first equation. So 3 times n will be 3 times f minus 600 is equal to f plus 200. Or the value of 2f will be equal to 2000, or the value of f is equal to 1000. So the fixed wage that is given to the employee is rupees 1000.
We at Cracku provide all the previous year CAT papers along with many other MBA examinations such as IIFT, XAT, SNAP, MAT, CMAT, TIS and PGDBA in the actual exam format. You can attempt them as a test and get a detailed analysis of your performance or download them as PDFs.
In this question, we are told that Anil invests some money at a fixed rate of interest which is compounded annually, and the interest that is accrued in the second and third year is 806.25 and 866.72 respectively. We are asked to calculate the interest accrued in the fourth year. If there is an amount P which is invested at a rate of interest R, the amount at the end of the first year is P into 1 plus R. The amount at the end of the second year is P into 1 plus R whole square. The amount at the end of the third year is P into 1 plus R whole cube. The amount at the end of the fourth year is P into 1 plus R whole to the power 4. We are given the interest accrued in the second year. So we are given the value of the amount at the end of the second year minus the value of the amount at the end of the first year. That difference is the interest that has accrued in the second year. So P into 1 plus R whole square minus P into 1 plus R is given. This is equal to 806.25. If you take P into 1 plus R common, we will take 1 plus R from the first bracket minus 1 from the second bracket. So this is P into 1 plus R into R is equal to 806.25. This is just the simplification of the first equation. The interest accrued in the second year is calculated. The interest accrued in the third year is 866.72. So the amount at the end of the third year minus the amount at the end of the second year is given. So P into 1 plus R whole cube minus P into 1 plus R whole square is 866.72. Now if you are taking P into 1 plus R whole square common, we will get 1 plus R from the first bracket minus 1. So this is R. So P into 1 plus R whole square into R is equal to 866.72. So this is the second equation and this is the first equation. If you divide the second equation by the first equation, you are going to get that 1 plus R is equal to 866.72 divided by 806.25. What are we required to calculate? We are required to calculate the interest that is accrued during the fourth year. So we are asked to calculate P into 1 plus R to the power 4 minus P into 1 plus R whole cube. This is equal to what? If you take P into 1 plus R whole cube common, you will get 1 plus R from the first equation, from the first term, minus 1 from the second term. So this is R. What is the value of P into 1 plus R whole cube into R? We know that the value of P into 1 plus R whole square into R is 866.72. We also know that the value of 1 plus R is 866.72 divided by 806.25. So the value of P into 1 plus R whole cube into R will be equal to 866.72 into 866.72 divided by 806.25. You can simplify this. This will be equal to 931.72. So the answer for this question is option C, which is 931.72. In this question, we are told that there are three friends, Amar, Akbar and Anthony, and they work together to finish a project. If Amar and Akbar are working together, they finish a project in 1 year, that is in 12 months. If Akbar and Anthony are working together, they finish it in 16 months. And if Anthony and Amar are working together, they complete it in 2 years, that is 24 months. Here we are given the amount of time that a pair of these people are taking. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is, say, the LCM of 24, 16 and 12. What is the least common multiple of 12, 16 and 24? That is 48. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is, say, 48 units. We arrived at 48 because it is the LCM of 12, 16 and 24, and we are using 48 because that will make the calculations easy. We can assume this total work that needs to be done to be any number. But if it is the LCM, many of the calculations become easy and we will arrive at the answer faster. Let us assume that the amount of work done in 1 month by Amar is A, by Akbar is B, and by Anthony is, say, C. Then what is the value of A plus B? That is, what is the total amount of work done by Amar and Akbar in 1 month? They finish 48 units of work in 12 months. So in 1 month, they will be doing 4 units of work. What is the amount of work done by B and C, that is Akbar and Anthony? The amount of time taken by Akbar and Anthony to finish 48 units of work is 16 months. So in 1 month, they will be finishing 3 units of work. What is the amount of work done by Amar and Anthony, that is A plus C? Amar and Anthony, when they are working together, they finish the project in 2 years, that is 24 months. 48 units is completed in 24 months. So in 1 month, they finish 2 units of work. If you are adding all 3 of these equations, the left hand side becomes equal to 2 times A plus B plus C. This is equal to 9, or the value of A plus B plus C is equal to 4.5 units. So if all 3 of them are working together, in 1 month they finish 4.5 units of work. We know that A plus B is 4 and A plus B plus C is 4.5. So the value of C is 0.5. Similarly, the value of A is 4.5 minus 3, which is 1.5. And the value of B is 4.5 minus 2, which is 2.5. this is the amount of work done by each one of them individually in 1 month. So the person who is not working the fastest or the slowest is A, and he does 1.5 units of work every month, and he has to complete 48 units of work. So how much time does it take? He is going to take 48 divided by 1.5, which is equal to 32 months. This is the number of months that the person who is in the middle takes to finish the entire work. In this question, we are told that the strength of an indigo solution in percentage is equal to the amount of indigo in grams per 100 cc of water. We have two 800 cc bottles which are filled with indigo solutions. One of them has 33% and another one has 17%. Some indigo from the first bottle is removed, and the same amount of indigo from the second bottle is used to fill the first bottle, and now the amount of the percentage of indigo in the first bottle has decreased. From 33% it has become equal to 21%. What we are asked to calculate is the volume of indigo, the volume of the solution that is left in the second bottle. Let us assume that the amount of solution that is left in the second bottle is X. So we are required to calculate the value of X. If X is remaining in the second bottle, what is the amount of solution that was poured from the second bottle to the first bottle? That would be 800 minus X. So what is the amount of indigo that was thrown out? The amount of indigo that was thrown out has to equal 800 minus X, because that is replenished by the solution from the second bottle. So the amount of the original solution of 33% which is left in the first bottle is therefore equal to X. So now we have X of 33% and we have 800 minus X of 17%. When you are mixing both of them, you are getting a solution. The strength of that solution is 21%. Using allocations method, we can calculate the ratio between X and 800 minus X. How can we do that simply? We'll first calculate 33 minus 21. 33 minus 21 is 12, so that will be over here. And what is 21 minus 17? 21 minus 17 is 4. So this is 4. So the ratio of X is to 800 minus X has to be equal to 4 divided by 12. 4 by 12 is basically 1 by 3. So now if you cross multiply, 3x will be equal to 800 minus x, or the value of 4x is 800, or the value of x is 200. So the amount of solution that is left in the second bottle will be 200 ml. In this question, we are told that identical chocolate pieces are sold in two different types of boxes. One is a small box and one is a large box. The price of the large box is twice the price of the small box. So if you are looking at prices, if you assume that the price of a small box is X, then the price of a large box is 2X. But the selling price per gram, this is the total price, the price per gram of the large box is 12% less than that of the small box. So if you assume that the price per gram of the small box is K, the price per gram of the large box will be 0.88 K. The percentage by which the weight of the chocolate in the large box exceeds that of the small box is what we are required to calculate. If you are given the price and if you are given the price per gram, what is the weight? The weight will be X divided by K. Because if you are told that there is a quantity, there is a price for 1 gram is say rupees 10. And if you are told that the total price of a particular object is say 1000, then the weight of the object will be 1000 divided by 10. Similarly, in this particular case, if you are given the price and the price per gram, the weight will be X divided by K. And in case of the large one, it will be 2X divided by 0.88 K. 2x divided by 0.88 K, you can use your calculator. This will be equal to 2.2727 X by K. That is the weight. So the weight of the large one, which is equal to 2.2727 XK, exceeds the weight of the small one, which is X by K, by 127.27%. Amongst the options, the closest one is option B, which is 127%. In this question, we are told that Raj invested 10,000 rupees in a fund. So he has 10,000 with him. And the first year he encountered some loss. Let us assume that the loss percentage is X%. So what is the value of the fund after the first year when there was a loss of X%? It will be 10,000 into 1 minus X by 100, which if you simplify will be equal to 10,000 minus 100x. We are told that this is greater than 5,000. That is, whatever was 10,000 after getting a loss is greater than 5,000. This would imply that the loss percentage X is less than 50%. Because if he had lost more than 50%, then the value remaining would be less than 5,000. Now this balance was invested and the percentage of growth in the next year is 5 times the percentage lost in the first year. So in the second year, the percentage gain is 5x%, and now the overall return on investment is 35%. The amount invested is 10,000. If the overall return is 35%, the final amount will be 13,500. So if 10,000 minus 100x gains 5x%, then it becomes 13,500. Or if you are looking at the profit in the second year, that will be 13,500 minus 10,000 minus 100x. So the profit in the second year will become equal to 3,500 plus 100x. If you divide it by the initial investment, which is 10,000 minus 100x, this is 5x%, or this is equal to 5x by 100. You can cancel 100 in the numerator and denominator of the left hand side. So this becomes equal to 35 plus x divided by 100 minus x is equal to 5x by 100, which is x by 20. Now if you cross multiply, you are going to get that 20x plus 700 is equal to 100x minus x square, or x square minus 80x plus 700 is equal to 0, or x minus 10 into x minus 70 is equal to 0. So the value of x is either 10 or 70. But we know that the value of x is less than 50. We know that the end of first year the amount was greater than 5,000. So x cannot be equal to 70. So the loss incurred in the first year, the loss percentage is equal to 10%. That will be the answer. In this question, we are told that there are two trains A and B and their speeds are in the ratio 5:3. So let us assume that this is train A and this is train B. The speeds are in the ratio 5:3. So let us assume that the speed of train A is 5s and the speed of train B is 3s. The front end of A crossed the rear end of B in 46 seconds. Let us assume that the length of A is LA and the length of B is LB. If the front end of A crossed the front and rear ends, and if this time has taken 46 seconds, it would imply that the distance of LB can be crossed in 46 seconds when both of them are traveling in opposite directions. And when both of them are traveling in opposite directions, what is the relative speed? It will be 5s plus 3s, which is equal to 8s. We are also told that once the train crossed the rear end of LB, it takes a further 69 seconds for both of them to completely cross each other. Now, once the first train LA crosses the rear end, this is say A. At this point, the rear end of B is crossed by train A, and if both of the trains are completely crossing each other, the distance that is travelled effectively becomes LA. This has taken a further 69 seconds and the speed is again 8s because both of them are travelling in opposite directions. What we are asked to calculate is the ratio of the length of train A to that of train B. Now if you divide one equation by the other, LA divided by LB is equal to 69 divided by 46, which is equal to 3/2. So the required ratio is option A, which is 3:2. In this question, we are told that there is a container which had some milk. Let us assume that the volume of the container is V From this 9 liters are removed and replaced with water. Again this process continues. There is a formula for figuring out the amount of milk finally left in the container. If this process is repeated n times, then the volume of milk will be V, which is the initial volume of milk, into 1 minus K by V whole to the power n, where K is the amount of water or the amount of milk that is being replaced. In this particular case, the value of K is 9 liters. So after the first time when this process happens, the amount of milk that is left in the container will be V into 1 minus 9 by V. If you simplify it, this is basically V minus 9. If this process is repeated 2 times, that is once 9 liters are replaced, again 9 liters are taken from the solution and they are replaced with water, the amount of milk that is left in the container will be V into 1 minus 9 by V whole square. This is repeated 2 times, so at the end this is the amount of milk that is left in the container. We are told that the ratio of milk to that of water is 16:9. So let us assume that the volume of milk is 16K and the volume of water is 9K. This is at the end. So the total volume will be 16K plus 9K, which is 25K. So this is the value of V. Or this would imply that V into 1 minus 9 by V whole square, this is equal to 16K and the value of V is 25K. So this would tell us that 1 minus 9 by V whole square will be equal to 16 by 25. Or the value of 1 minus 9 by V is equal to 4 by 5. Or the value of 9 by V is equal to 1 by 5. Or the value of V is equal to 45 liters. So the correct answer, that is the capacity of the container, is 45 liters. In this question we are told that Anil can paint a house in 60 days and Bimal can paint it in 84 days. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done in painting is the LCM of 60 and 84, so that calculations become easy. What is the LCM of 60 and 84? It is 420. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 420 units. Anil completes it in 60 days. Bimal will complete it in 84 days. So in 60 days, Anil will do 420 units of work. So in one day, he does 7 units of work. Similarly, Bimal takes 84 days to complete 420 units of work. So in one day, he does 5 units of work. We are told that Anil paints for the first 10 days alone. So the total work that he does is 7 into 10, which is 70. Then Bimal and Charu work with him and all of them work for 14 days. So if Bimal and Charu work for 14 days, Anil will work for 14 more days. So he will complete 7 into 14. This is the total work done by Anil. 70 in the first 10 days and 7 into 14 in the remaining 14 days. Bimal works for a total of 14 days and he will complete 5 into 14. We don't know how much work Charu does in one day. Let us assume that is C units per day. Charu also works for 14 days. So he does 14 C units of work. This is the total work done by all of them and this has to equal 420. So this is equal to 420. 5 into 14 is 70. 7 into 14 is 98. So what is the value of 14C, which is the work done by Charu? The value of 14C will be 420 minus 70 minus 70. So this is 420 minus 140 is 280. 280 minus 98. 280 minus 98 is 182. This is the work done by Charu, 182 units of work. The work done by Bimal, total work is 5 units into 14 days that Bimal worked, so that is 70 units. This is by Bimal. And the total work done by Anil will be 7 into 10, first 10 days that he worked alone, plus 7 into 14, so 98, so total is 168 units. This is the total work done by Anil. If you add up all of them, again you are going to get 420. What we are told is that all of them were paid 21,000 total for the job and the share of Charu will be how much? The share of Charu will be 182, which is the work done by her, divided by 420, which is the total work, into 21,000. 21,000 divided by 420 is 50, so this is equal to 99,100 rupees. That will be the answer. In this question, we are told that there are a total of 450 balls. Some of them are white and some of them are black. So let us assume that these are the white balls and these are the black balls. Again, there is another distinction. Some of them are metallic balls and some of them are non-metallic balls. So let us assume that these are metallic balls. These are non-metallic balls. We are told that the number of metallic white balls is the same as the number of metallic black balls. So let us assume that both of them are equal to x and x. Now 40% of the white balls are metallic and 50% of the black balls are metallic. So what is the total number of white balls? Metallic balls, which are x, constitute 40% of the total white balls. This would imply that the total number of white balls will be x divided by 40%, which is equal to 2.5x. This would also imply that because the number of black balls is x and they constitute 50% of the total number of black balls. The total number of metallic black balls is x. So this would imply that the total number of black balls will be x divided by 0.5, which is 50%, which is equal to 2x. So the number of white balls is 2.5x, number of black balls is 2x. So the total number of balls is 4.5x. But this has to equal 450, or the value of x has to equal 100. So the number of metallic white balls is 100. Number of metallic black balls is also 100. Both of them are the same. Total number of white balls is 250, which is 2.5x. Total number of black balls is 200, which is 2x. What we are asked to find out is the number of non-metallic balls in the box. So what is the number of non-metallic white balls? That is 250 minus 100, which is 150. And number of non-metallic black balls will be 200 minus 100, which is 100. So the total number of non-metallic balls will be 150 plus 100, which is equal to 250. So the required answer for this question is 250. In this question, we are told that in a football tournament, a person has played a certain number of matches. So let us assume that he has played n matches and there are 10 more matches that are supposed to be played. So the total number of matches that he will play by the end of the tournament will be n plus 10. Let us assume that till now he has scored g goals, and we are told that if he scores a total of one more goal in the next 10 matches, his average will be 0.15. So the total number of goals that he would have scored will be g plus 1. So what we are told is that g plus 1 divided by n plus 10 is equal to 0.15. However, instead of scoring one goal, if he has scored two goals, then the total number of goals he would have scored will be g plus 2. The total number of matches he played would remain n plus 10, and the average number of goals that he scored per match will now become equal to 0.2. So we have two equations and two unknowns, g and n. We are required to calculate the number of matches he has played, that is, we are required to calculate the value of n. If you divide the first equation by the second equation, the denominator n plus 10 gets cancelled. So the left hand side becomes equal to g plus 1 divided by g plus 2. This is equal to 0.15 divided by 0.2, which is equal to 3 by 4. So if you now cross multiply, 4g plus 4 is equal to 3g plus 6, or the value of g is equal to 2. If the value of g is equal to 2, the first equation becomes equal to 2 plus 1, that is 3, divided by n plus 10 is equal to 0.15. But 3 divided by 0.15 is 20. So the value of n plus 10 is equal to 20, or the value of n is equal to 10. So the required answer for this question is that the player has played 10 matches till now.
Google search Cracku CAT formulas PDF. Click on the first link. You will get a list of topics for CAT. Click on one of the topics. Download the PDF to get a list of formulas for the topic.
In this question, we are told that there is a person who buys tea of three different qualities. One of them is priced at 800 per kg, one of them is priced at 500 per kg, and one of them is priced at 300 per kg. and the ratio in which they were mixed is 2:3:5. So let us assume that he bought 2x kgs of the first quality, 3x kgs of the second quality, and 5x kgs of the third quality. Now he mixes all of them and he sells 1/6 of the mixture at rupees 700 per kg. Now just to make things easier, let us assume that x is equal to 6, so that there won't be any fractions. Or essentially we are saying that 800 rupees, the tea which costs rupees 800 per kg, we are buying 12 kgs. And the tea which costs 500 per kg, we are buying 18 kgs. And the tea which costs 300 per kg, we are buying 5 into 6, that is 30 kg. Again, this ratio of 12:18:30 is equal to 2:3:5. But because we have to divide some of this by 1/6, we are assuming that all of them are multiples of 6. So what is the total cost involved in purchasing this much tea? 800 into 12 will be 9,600. 500 into 18 is 9,000. 300 into 30 is 9,000. So the total money that he spent will be 9,600 plus 9,000 plus 9,000, which is equal to 27,600. And the total amount of tea that he bought will be 12 kg plus 18 kg plus 30 kg, which is equal to 60 kg. Now out of this, 1/6 he sold at 70 per kg. What is 1/6 of 60 kg? That is 10 kg, and he sold this for rupees 700 per kg. So the total money that he made will be 7,000. And the total amount of money that he wants to make, or the total amount of profit he wants to make, is 50%. So when he is purchased this for 27,600 and he wants an overall profit of 50%, the total selling price should be 27,600 into 1.5. This you can calculate will be equal to 41,400. Now out of this, when he sold 10 kg, he got 7,000 rupees. So the remaining 50 kg should make him how much money? It should be 41,400 minus 7,000, which is equal to 34,400. So what is the price per kg at which he should sell this? That will be 34,400 divided by 50, which is 3440 divided by 5, which is equal to 688 per kg. So the price at which he should sell is rupees 688 per kg. In this question, we are told that there are three people, Anil, Bobby and Chintu. They invest in a business. Let us assume that the total investment is equal to 100x. Anil's investment is 70%, so Anil invested 70x. We don't know how much Bobby and Chintu invested, but we know that Anil invested 70%. We are told that his share of the profit decreases by 420 if the profit overall profit goes down from 18% to 15%. So if the original profit was, because the total investment is 100x, Anil's investment would be 70x. So 70x is his investment, and the original profit would have been 70x into 18%. But if the profit percentage decreases to 15%, that is, if it becomes 70x into 15%, this difference is equal to 420. Or what this would imply is that 70x into 3% is equal to 420. This is 6. So the value of x is equal to 200. Or the total investment by all the three people together is 100x, which is 20,000. Out of which Anil's investment is 70x, so this is 14,000. The remaining 6,000 is invested by Bobby and Chintu. Now Chintu's share of the profit increases by 80 if the overall profit goes up from 15% to 17%. Now if the overall profit is 15%, the profit would have been 20,000, which is the total investment, into 15%. Now if it becomes 17%, it would become 20,000 into 17%. So the overall profit would be 20,000 into 17% minus 20,000 into 15%. This is the increase in the overall profit. This would be 20,000 into 2%. 20,000 into 2% is equal to 4,000. Is equal to 400, sorry. This is the overall profit. This is the increase in the overall profit. Now Chintu is getting 80 rupees out of this increase. The increase is 400 and Chintu is getting 80 rupees of that increase. This would imply that Chintu's share is 20%. So the amount invested by Chintu would be 20% of 20,000, which is equal to 4,000. And the remaining 2,000 was invested by Bobby. In this question, we are told that there are two pipes A and B which are connected to an empty water tank. Let us assume that this is the empty water tank. Now A fills water into the tank and B empties the water from the tank. Let us assume that in 1 hour A fills A liters every hour and B empties B liters every hour. Now if A is opened at 2 p.m. and B is opened at 3 p.m., the tank becomes completely full by 10 p.m. If you assume that the volume of the tank is V is equal to pipe A is open from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. so it is open for 8 hours. And pipe B is open from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. so it is emptying the tank for 7 hours. So the volume V of the tank is equal to 8A minus 7B. We are also told that if pipe A is opened at 2 p.m. and pipe B is opened at 4 p.m., the tank is completely full at 6 p.m. If the tank is completely full at 6 p.m., pipe A is open from 2 to 6, so it is open for 4 hours. And pipe B is open for just 2 hours, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So 8A minus 7B is equal to 4A minus 2B. If both of them are the same, it would imply that 4A is equal to 5B, or the value of A is equal to 5 by 4B. Just to make things easy, let us assume that the value of B is equal to 4K for some constant K. That is, pipe B is emptying 4K liters every hour. So the value of A, which is 5 by 4B, becomes equal to 5K. So the volume of the tank is equal to 8A, which is 40K, minus 7B, that is minus 28K, which is equal to 12K. So the amount of time that it takes pipe A to fill the tank will be 12K divided by 5K hours, which is equal to 12 by 5 hours. We are asked to calculate this in minutes, so you multiply this with 60. So this becomes 12 into 12, which is 144 minutes. That will be the answer. In this question, we are told that Rahul started a work at 9 a.m. and Gautam joined him 2 hours later. So Rahul started a work at 9 a.m. and Gautam joined him 2 hours later, so that is at 11 a.m. They worked together and finished the job at 5 p.m. So how much time did Rahul work? Rahul worked from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. so that is 8 hours. So if he does R units of work every hour, the total work done by Rahul is 8 hours, plus Gautam worked from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. that is he worked for 6 hours. If you assume that he does G units of work every hour, 8 hour plus 6G is the total work that needs to be done. We are told that if Gautam, instead of joining him at 11 a.m., if he had joined him at 9 a.m. itself, then the work would have been finished half an hour earlier. That is, the work would have finished at 4:30 p.m. In this particular case, Rahul and Gautam, both of them would have worked for 7.5 hours each. So 7.5 hour plus 7.5 G is also equal to W. We can equate both of them. If you are equating both of them, we will get a relationship between R and G. It would imply that 0.5 R is equal to 1.5 G, or the value of R is equal to 3G. Therefore, what is the total work that needs to be done in terms of R? It will be 8R plus what is 6G? 3G is equal to R, so 6G will be equal to 2R. This is the work that needs to be done, or work that needs to be done is 10R. So if Rahul is working at it alone, he would have taken 10 hours to finish the job. So that is option B. In this question, we are told that in a tournament, a team has played 40 matches and won 30% of them. So the total matches that are played by the team right now is 40, and the matches won is 30% of them, which is 12. We are told that if they win 60% of the remaining matches, let us assume that the number of remaining matches is n, and if they are winning 60% of them, they are winning 0.6n. then their overall win percentage will be 50%. So what this would imply is that the total number of matches that they won, 12 plus 0.6 n, divided by the total number of matches that they have played, which is 40 plus n, is equal to 50%, which is 0.5. Or if you simplify it, 12 plus 0.6 n is equal to 0.5 into 40 plus n, so that is 20 plus 0.5 n. Or the value of 0.1 n is equal to 8, or the value of n is equal to 80. So the remaining number of matches is 80. Now if they won 90% of the remaining matches, the number of matches that they would have won would be 90% of 80, which is 72. Then the total number of matches won by the team in the tournament will be 12 plus 72, which is equal to 84. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that the total male and female population in city increased by 25% from 1970 to 1980. So this is the numbers in 1970, this is the numbers in 1980, and we will have some numbers in 1990. The total population, let us assume in 1970 was X. So it has increased by 25%, so it becomes 1.25x. We are told that during the same period, the male population increased by 40%. So if you assume that the number of males in 1970 is M, the number of males in 1980 becomes 1.4m. And the number of females increased by 20%. So if you assume that the number of females in 1970 is F, the number of females in 1980 becomes 1.2f. Now we have two equations and we can figure out a relationship between M and F. What are the two equations that we have? M plus F will be equal to X, because the number of males plus the number of females is the total population in 1970, and it is the same case even in 1980. You have 1.4m plus 1.2f is equal to 1.25x. So we have three variables and two equations. But the first thing we want to figure out is what is the relationship between M and F. So we'll try to eliminate X. We have X on the right hand side here and 1.25x. We'll try to make both of them the same. So we'll multiply the first equation with 5 so that the right hand side becomes 5x, and the second equation will multiply by 4 because 1.25x into 4 is again 5x. Or essentially what we are saying is that 5m plus 5f from the first equation is equal to 5x, and from the second equation 1.25x into 4 is also equal to 5x. So that will equal 4 times 1.4m plus 1.2f. So that is 5.6m plus 4.8f. Or this would imply that 0.6m is equal to 0.2f, or the value of 3m is equal to f. So now we will substitute f with 3m. Therefore, the value of 1.2f will be equal to 3.6m. And the value of x will be m plus 3m, which is equal to 4m. Therefore, the value of 1.25x will be equal to 5m. So the total population in 1970 is 4m, which had m males and 3m females. The total population in 1980 is 5m, which had 1.4m and 3.6m females. We are given some information about 1990. We are told that the female population increased by 25% from 1980 to 1990. So there is an increase of 25% from 3.6m. So the number of females in 1990 will be 1.25 into 3.6m, which is equal to 4.5m. And the number of females is twice the number of males. So the number of males will be 2.25m. Therefore, the total population in 1990 will be 2.25m plus 4.5m, which is equal to 6.75m. Therefore, the percentage increase in the total population from 1970 to 1990 is 6.75 minus 4 divided by 4 into 100, which is equal to 2.75 into 100 by 4, which is equal to 275 by 4. This is 68.75%, which is option B. We are told that the arithmetic mean of 25 students in an examination is 50. So there are 25 students, the average marks scored by them is 50. So the total marks scored by these 25 students is 25 into 50, which is 1250. We are told that 5 of the students are the toppers and they have scored the same number of marks. So let us assume that each of them has scored T. So because there are 5 toppers, the total marks scored by these 5 toppers is 5t. So there are 20 students left who are not the toppers, and the scores, the total score by these 20 students will be equal to 1250 minus 5t. We are told that the least marks was 30, and all of these remaining 20 students scored distinct integers. So we are trying to maximize the scores by the toppers. So as you are trying to maximize the scores by the toppers, you would want to minimize the scores by the remaining 20 people. So the remaining people would have to score 30 plus 31 plus 32 plus dot 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 till 49. What is the minimum value of this? What is the sum of these 20 students? That is, what is the value of 30 plus 31 plus dot 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 till 49? That will be equal to 20 divided by 2 into 30 plus 49. Remember that in any arithmetic progression, if you know the first term and if you know the last term and you know the number of terms, the sum is equal to the number of terms into the first term plus the last term divided by 2. In this particular case, there are 20 terms, so it is 20 by 2 into the first term plus the last term. This will be 790. The scores by the remaining 20 students is 790. That is the minimum possible value of the sum of the remaining 20 students. This would imply that if you are trying to maximize the value of t, 1250 minus 5t is equal to 790, or the value of 5t is equal to 460, or the value of t is equal to 92. So the maximum possible score by the toppers is 92. Because the minimum score of the remaining 20 students, the minimum sum of those 20 scores is 790. In that particular case, the value of t is 92, which will be the maximum possible score of the toppers. In this question, we are told that one part of a hostel's expense is fixed while the other is proportional to the number of its boarders. So the expense of a hostel is fixed. Let us call the fixed portion to be equal to f plus a proportionality constant k into n, okay, where n is the number of boarders. As the number of boarders increases, the variable expense also increases proportionally and the fixed cost will remain the same, which is f. The revenue that it generates per boarder is the same, it is 1600. So the revenue is 1600 n. So the total profit that it makes will be equal to 1600 n, which is the total revenue, minus f minus kn. So the profit per boarder, which is the information that is given to us, will be equal to this total profit divided by n. So this will be 1600 minus k minus f divided by n. We are given the profit per boarder when the number of boarders is 50. We are also given the profit per boarder when the number of boarders is 75. So when the number of boarders is 50, the profit per boarder will be 1600 minus k minus f divided by 50. This we are told is equal to 200. And when the number of boarders is 75, the profit per boarder will be 1600 minus k minus f by 75. This we are told is 250. So if you subtract the first equation from the second equation, we are going to get that f by 50 minus f by 75 is equal to 250 minus 200, which is 50. F by 50 minus f by 75 is f by 150. F by 150 is 50, or the value of f is equal to 7500. Now we can calculate the value of k also. What is 1600 minus k? In the first equation, you can substitute the value of f in any one of the two equations. If you are substituting it in the first equation, 1600 minus k minus f by 50, that is 7500 divided by 50 is 150, is equal to 200, or the value of k is 1250. We are asked to calculate the total profit when the number of boarders is 50. The total profit is 1600 n minus f minus kn, or the total profit when n is equal to 80 will be equal to n into 1600 minus what is f, 7500, minus kn. K is 1250 minus 1250 n, or simplifying it, this is 350 into n minus 7500. What is the value of n? The value of n is 80. So this is 350 into 80 minus 7500. 350 into 80 is 28,000 minus 7,500. So the total profit will be 20,500. In this question, we are told that a tea shop offers cups in 3 different sizes. There is a small cup, there is a medium cup, and there is a large cup. The ratio of the prices of the small and the medium cup is 2:5. So let us assume that it is 2K and 5K, and let us assume that the cost of the large cup is, say, L. Now the product of these 3 numbers, 2K, 5K and L, was told to be equal to 800. If the price of the small cup and medium cup was increased by 6 rupees, they become 2K plus 6, 5K plus 6, and the cost of the large cup remains unchanged. Let us assume that it is again L. The product of these 3 numbers is 3200. So the first thing you should notice is that 2K plus 6 into 5K plus 6 divided by 2K into 5K will be equal to 3200 divided by 800, which will be equal to 4. You can cancel 2 from both sides, so this becomes, instead of 2K plus 6, it becomes K plus 3, and here we can remove 2 in the denominator. Now if you cross multiply, you are going to get the left hand side as 5K plus 6 into K plus 3 is 5K square plus 15K plus 6K plus 18 is equal to 20K square. This would imply that 15K square minus 21K minus 18 is equal to 0, or 5K square minus 7K minus 6 is equal to 0. We can simplify this as 5K plus 3 into K minus 2 is equal to 0. This would imply that the value of K is equal to 2. So the price of the small cup was 4, price of the medium cup was 10. So what is the price of the large cup? The product of the 3 cups is 800, 4 into 10 is 40, 800 divided by 40 is 20. And after increase it becomes 2K plus 6, so this becomes 10, 5K plus 6, so this becomes 16, and this remains 20. Again the product is 20 into 16 into 10, which is 3200. So the sum of the prices of the small, medium and large cups at the start is 4 plus 10 plus 20, which is equal to 34. In this question, we are told that there are 2 friends who are walking around a circular track. Let us assume that the circumference of the track is equal to C. Let us assume that in 1 minute, the amount of distance that Meera walks is equal to M, and the distance that Amal walks is equal to A. We are told that if they are walking in opposite directions, within 3 minutes, they complete 1 round. So the distance that Meera walks in 3 minutes is 3M. The distance that Amal walks in 3 minutes is 3A. So 3M plus 3A is equal to C. We are also told that if they are walking in the same direction, after 45 minutes, Amal completes exactly 3 more rounds than Meera. In 45 minutes, the distance that Amal walks is 45A. The distance that Meera walks is 45M. The difference between these two is 3C. Now we can find out the value of M and A in terms of C. So let us first try to do that. We will multiply the first equation by 15. So 45M or 45A plus 45M is equal to 15C. So now if you subtract the first equation from the second equation, we are going to get that 90M is equal to 12C, or the value of M is equal to 12 by 90C, which is equal to 2 by 15C. So in 1 minute, Meera walks 2 by 15th of the circumference. So in 1 hour, she is going to walk 2 by 15 C into 60. 60 by 15 is 4, so this is equal to 8C. So in 1 hour, she will complete 8 rounds around the circular track.
Google search Cracku free cat mock. Click on the first link. You can attempt a free mock test which was attempted by 30,000 cat aspirants in the actual exam format. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis and percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance. Click on the solution to get video solutions from our expert faculty.
In this question, we are told that if a certain weight of an alloy, which contains silver and copper, is mixed with 3 kg of pure silver, the resulting alloy will have 90% silver by weight. Let us assume that the initial alloy is S plus C, that is, it contains S kgs of silver and C kgs of copper. We are told that if you are adding 3 kgs of silver to it, that is, if it has 3 plus S silver and C copper, this maintains 90% of silver by weight, so the remaining 10% will be copper. So the first thing you should notice is that 3 plus S is equal to 9C, because 3 plus S is 90% and C alone is 10%, so 3 plus S is 9C, or the value of S is 9C minus 3. We are also told that if the initial alloy was instead mixed with 2 kg of another alloy which contains 90% silver by weight. So the 2 kg new alloy contains 90% silver by weight. So this contains 1.8 kgs of silver and 0.2 kgs of copper. If this is mixed with the original alloy, what is the amount of silver in it? The amount of silver will be S plus 1.8. And what is the amount of copper in it? It will be C plus 0.2. We are told that S plus 1.8 is 84% and C plus 0.2 is the remaining 16%. Or S plus 1.8 divided by C plus 0.2 is equal to 84 by 16. S is 9C minus 3. So 9C minus 3 plus 1.8 divided by C plus 0.2 is equal to 84 by 16. What is 84 by 16? That is 21 by 4. 9C minus 3 plus 1.8 will be 9C minus 1.2 divided by C plus 0.2 is equal to 21 by 4. If you cross multiply, 36C minus 4.8 is equal to 21C plus 4.2, or the value of 15C is equal to 9, or the value of C is equal to 0.6 kgs. So the initial value or the initial weight of copper in the alloy is 0.6 kgs. What is the initial weight of silver in it? S is equal to 9C minus 3. 9C will be 5.4 minus 3 will be 2.4. So the initial weight of silver is 2.4 kgs. So the total weight of the alloy originally is 2.4 plus 0.6, which is 3 kgs. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that Bank A offers 6% interest rate compounded half yearly. So essentially, this is 3% interest rate every 6 months. We are told that there are two people, one is Raju and one is Rupa. Both of them have invested in two other banks. Both of them are getting simple interest. The interest rate on Raju's bank is half of that of Rupa's bank. So if you assume that Raju's interest rate is R%, Rupa's interest rate will be 2R%. And Rupa has invested 10,000 rupees. Raju has invested for 1 year and Rupa therefore has invested for twice that period, so for 2 years. We are told that the interest that Raju would get is the same that he would have got if he had invested in the first bank, which was giving him 3% interest rate compounded semi-annually. What is the interest that he would get at the end of 1 year from Bank A? That would be P into 1.03 whole square, because he has invested for 1 year, which is 2 times 6 months, and the interest is 3% every 6 months, because the overall interest rate is 6%, but this is compounded semi-annually, that is half yearly. So the interest from the first bank will be P into 1.03 whole square minus P. This is P into 1.0609 minus P, which is equal to 0.0609 P. Or essentially the interest rate R, because this is for 1 year, is 6.09%. Therefore, the interest on the second bank, which is twice this, will be 12.18%. This is simple interest. So the simple interest that Rupa would get in 2 years when she has invested 10,000 rupees is equal to 10,000 into 12.18 divided by 100 into 2. You can cancel 100 over here and here. This is 1218 into 2, which is equal to 2436. So the correct answer is option B. In this question, we are told that Anil can paint a house in 12 days. Barun can paint it in 16 days. And if Anil, Barun and Chandu, all of them are painting, they can finish it in just 6 days. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done for painting this house is equal to the LCM of 12, 16 and 6, because then it will make the calculations easy. What is the LCM of 12, 16 and 6? That will be 48 units. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 48 units. Anil can complete 48 units in 12 days. So every day he does 4 units per day. Barun can complete 48 units in 16 days. So every single day he is going to do 3 units every day. And all 3 of them can finish this in 6 days. So all 3 of them together will do 48 divided by 6, that is 8 units per day. Out of which Anil does 4 and Barun does 3. This would imply that Chandu does 1 unit every day. Because 8 minus 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. For the entire work they were paid 24,000 rupees. How much does Chandu make? When they are doing 8 units of work every day, Chandu does 1 unit of it. So the amount of money that he takes will also be 1/8 of the total money that they received, which is 1/8 of 24,000, which is 3,000 rupees. In this question, we are told that there is a village in which the ratio of the males to females is 5:4. So we have males and we have females. Let the number of men be 5x and the number of women be 4x. Out of which the number of literate men, we are told that ratio is 2:3. So let the number of literate men be 2y and the number of literate women be 3y. This would tell us that the number of illiterate men can be calculated. This will be 5x minus 2y. Similarly, the number of illiterate females will be 4x minus 3y. This ratio is again given to us. This is 4:3. We are told that there are 3,600 males in the village who are literate. So this 2y is equal to 3,600. If 2y is equal to 3,600, y will be equal to 1,800 and therefore 3y will be equal to 5,400. So this is equal to 5,400. Or essentially what we are told is that 5x minus 3,600 divided by 4x minus 5,400. This is in the ratio of 4:3. If you cross multiply, we are going to get 15x minus 1,800 is equal to 16x minus 21600, or the value of x is equal to 10,800. What we are required to calculate is the total number of females in the village, which is equal to 4x, and that will equal 4 into 10800, which is equal to 43,200. This will be the answer. In this question, we are told that there are some students, their average weight increases by 600 grams when some new students join. And we are also told that the average weight of the new students is 3 kgs greater than the average weight of the original students. We are required to calculate the ratio of the number of original students to that of the new students. Let us assume that the original weight, the average weight of the original students is W, and there are A such students. Now the new group, let us assume, has B students. Their average weight is 3 kgs more, so this is W plus 3. When you combine both of them, you get A plus B students, and their average weight is given to be 600 grams more, that is W plus 0.6. Using this, we can get an equation between A and B, because the total weight of the first group is WA plus the total weight of the second group is W plus 3 into B, which is WB plus 3B. This is equal to W plus 0.6 into A plus B. This is equal to WA plus WB plus 0.6A plus 0.6B. We can cancel WA plus WB on both sides. We will be left with 2.4B is equal to 0.6A, or 4B is equal to A, or the ratio of A by B is equal to 4:1. So the answer for this question is option C. In this question, we are told that there are two trains, A and B. They start at the same time towards each other, and we are given some information about the times that they have taken. Let us assume that this is train A and this is train B. This is station X and this is station Y. Let us assume that both of them meet at a point. Let us call this point M. Train A starting from X, it is going towards Y. B started from Y and it is going towards X. Let us assume that they met for the first time after P minutes. So the time that A has taken to come from X to M is P, and the time that B has taken to come from Y to M is also equal to P, because they met each other after P minutes. Now after they met, train B has taken 9 minutes to reach station X. So B has taken 9 minutes to reach A after to reach X after it has left M, and the total time that A has taken to reach B is 10. So the total amount of time that A has taken after M to reach Y is 10 minus P. Now we are required to calculate the value of 9 plus P, which is the total time that train B has taken to go from Y to X. One of the things that you will notice is the speed of trains A and B has remained the same. So the ratio of the time that A has taken to go from M to Y will be the same. Basically the ratio of the times that they have taken to cover the distances from A to M, from X to M, that is this ratio, and this ratio to go from M to Y should remain the same, because their speeds are the same, the ratio of their speeds is also the same. If you are looking at one aspect, what is the ratio of their speeds, and if you are only comparing the times that they have taken to go from X to M, that ratio will be P by 9. But you can also compare the ratio of speeds as the times that they have taken to go from M to Y. That will be equal to 10 minus P divided by P. Both of them have to be the same. So now if you cross multiply, we are going to get P square is equal to 90 minus 9P, or P square plus 9P minus 90 is equal to 0. This is equal to P plus 15 into P minus 6 is equal to 0, or the value of P is equal to 6 minutes. So this is 6 minutes. So they met for the first time after 6 minutes. B has taken 9 minutes to go from M to A. A has taken only 4 minutes to go from M to B. So the total time that A has taken is 6 plus 4, which is 10, and the total time that B has taken is 6 plus 9, which is equal to 15. So the correct answer is 15 minutes. In this question, we are told that Ankita buys 4 kgs of cashews, 14 kgs of peanuts and 6 kgs of almonds, when the cost of 7 kgs of cashews, that is 7C, is equal to 30 kgs of peanuts, that is this is equal to 30P, this is equal to 9 kgs of almonds. To make things easy, let us assume that 7C is equal to 30P is equal to 9A is equal to, what is the LCM of 7, 30 and 9? This is equal to 630. So let us assume that the cost of 7 kgs of cashews is equal to the cost of 30 kgs of peanuts is equal to the cost of 9 kgs of almonds, and this is equal to 630x. So the cost of cashews will be 90x, the cost of peanuts will be 21x, and the cost of almonds will be 70x. This would tell us what is the cost of 4 kgs of cashews plus 14 kgs of peanuts plus 6 kgs of almonds. 4C will be 360x, plus 14P is 21 into 14, that is 294x, plus 6A is 6 into 70x, which is 420x. This is equal to 1074x. This is the total cost price. This is how much they spent. And how much did they buy? The total weight that they bought is equal to 4 plus 14 plus 16, that is 24 kgs. Let the selling price of 1 kg of these nuts be S. So the total selling price of 24 kgs is 24S. So 24S is equal to 1074x. This is the total cost price plus 1752. This is what we are told. This is one equation. We are also told that if they sold this 24 kgs as 4 kgs at the selling price for 4S, and the remaining 20 kgs they sold at a discount of 20%. So they sold this 20 kgs at 0.8S. So they would sell it at 16S. So the total selling price will be 4s plus 16s, which is 20s. In this particular case, we are told that the profit is only 744. This would immediately tell us that 4s is equal to 1008, or the value of s is 252. If the value of s is 252, we can calculate that 24s minus 1752 will be equal to 4296. This is equal to 1074x from this equation, or the value of x is equal to 4. How much did he spend on purchasing almonds? 6 kgs of almonds is what he purchased. He spent 420x because 1 kg of almonds is 70x. So the total money that he spent is 420x, which is 420 into 4, which is equal to 1680. So the answer for this question is option A. In this question, we are told that Amal buys 110 kgs of syrup and 120 kgs of juice, and the cost of the syrup is 20% less than the cost of juice. Let us assume that the cost of juice is rupees X per kg. So the cost of syrup is equal to rupees 0.8 X per kg because it is 20% lesser. He bought 110 kgs of syrup and 120 kgs of juice. So the total cost price of this mixture will be equal to 120x plus 110 into 0.8, which is 88x, which is equal to 208x. This is the total cost price. And what is the total selling price? He sold 10 kgs of this syrup and he sold 20 kgs of the juice. Juice he sold at 1.2x. He made a profit of 20%. And the syrup he sold for 10% profit. 10% profit on 0.8x will be 0.88x. So by selling this, he made 10 into 0.88, which is 8.8x, plus 20 into 1.2x, which is 24x. So this is equal to 32.8x. And in addition to it, what did he make? He also sold the remaining. What is the remaining? 20 kgs of the 120 kg juice is sold. So 100 kgs of juice is left. And 10 kgs of the 110 kg syrup is sold. So 100 kgs of syrup is left. So this 200 kgs he sold at 308.32 per kg. So there he made 308.32 into 200 rupees. Plus in the 30 kgs he made 32.8x rupees. This he made an overall profit of 64%. The total cost price is 208x. So this is equal to 208x into 1.64. You will notice that 208x into 1.64 minus 32.8x is equal to 308.32x. The question and the numbers have been designed in such a way that we can actually cancel 308.32, or the value of x is equal to 200. What are we asked to calculate? We are asked to calculate the cost price of the syrup, which is equal to 0.8x, which will be 0.8 into 200, which is equal to 160 rupees. That will be the answer. In this question, we are told that the average of 3 integers is 13. So the sum of those 3 integers is 13 into 3, which is equal to 39. To these 3 integers, a new natural number n is added. So the sum becomes equal to 39 plus n. And now we have 4 integers, so their average is 39 plus n divided by 4. And this average, we are told, is an odd integer. The minimum possible of n is, this is what we are required to calculate. 39 plus n divided by 4 is an odd integer. The smallest odd integer, which is greater than 39 by n, which is equal to 9.75, is equal to 11. So the smallest value of n will be when 39 by n divided by 4 is equal to 11, or the value of 39 plus n is equal to 44, or the value of n is equal to 5. So the smallest possible value of n is 5. In this question, we are told that there is a mixture of lemon juice and sugar, and that has equal proportion. So the original mixture the ratio of lemon juice to to that of sugar syrup is 1:1. Now a new mixture is created by adding this mixture and sugar syrup in the ratio 1:3. So this mixture 1 and sugar syrup is 3. This is added. What is the ratio of lemon juice and sugar syrup in the new mixture? Let us assume that the amount of the original mixture is 2A. Then we will have A of the lemon juice and A of the sugar syrup in it. And because the ratio is 1:3, the amount of sugar syrup added is 6A. In the final mixture, the total weight will be 2A plus 6A, which is 8A. The amount of lemon juice will be A, and the amount of sugar syrup will be A plus 6A, which is 7A. So the required ratio will be 1:7. So the answer for this question is option D.
We at Cracku provide all the previous year CAT papers along with many other MBA examinations such as IIFT, ZAT, SNAP, MAT, CMAT, TEST and PGDBA in the actual exam format. You can attempt them as a test and get a detailed analysis of your performance or download them as PDFs.
In this question, we are told that Alex invested his savings in two parts. Let us assume that the first part he invested A and the second part he invested B. Both of them he invested in simple interest. In the first part, the interest at 15% per annum for 4 years. That simple interest will be equal to principal into rate of interest, which is 15% into 4 divided by 100. This is 15 into 4. This is equal to the simple interest on the second one, which is B into 12% into 3 by 100. Both of them we are told are exactly equal. This will help us in getting a ratio of A and B. So this is 4 and this will be 3. You can cancel 1 3 and this will be 5. Or the value is 5A is equal to 3B, or the value of B is equal to 5 by 3A. What we are required to calculate is the percentage of his savings invested in the first part. The total savings is equal to A plus B. This is equal to A plus 5 by 3A, which is the value of B. This is equal to 8 by 3A. So the percentage will be equal to A divided by 8 by 3A. We can cancel A on both sides into 100. This is equal to 300 by 8, which is equal to 75 by 2, which is 37.5%. So the correct answer will be option A. In this question, we are told that there is a person called Pinky who is standing in a queue, and the number of people ahead of her and the number of people behind her, that numbers are in the ratio of 3:5. So we can assume that this is 3x and this is 5x. So the total number of people who are in this line will be 3x plus 5x, that is 8x, plus Pinky herself. So this is 8x plus 1. This is the total number of people who are standing in this line. This we are told is less than 300, or the value of 8x will be less than 299. What is the largest multiple of 8 which is less than 299? Because we are trying to maximize the value of x. You will notice that the maximum value, the highest number which is less than 299, which is a multiple of 8, is 296. This is equal to 37 into 8. So the highest possible value of x is equal to 37. So the maximum number of people who are standing ahead of Pinky will be 37 into 3, which is equal to 111. So the answer for this question is 111. In this question, we are told that Pinto invests 1/5 of his capital at 6%. He invests 1/3 of the capital at 10%, and the remaining he invests at 1%. All of this is simple interest. To make calculations easy, because we are talking about 1/5 and 1/3 of the sum, let the total sum be equal to 30x. Because 30 is a multiple of 5 and 3, calculations will become easy. 1/5 of 30x is 6x. So 6x he invested at 6%. 1/3 is 10x, he invested at 10%. And the remaining, which is 30x minus 6x minus 10x, that is 14x, he invested at 1%. From the 6x, the simple interest that he earned is 6x into 6% into 1 divided by 100 in 1 year. So that is 0.36x. From the 10x at 10%, in 1 year, he's going to make x. From the 14x at 1% in 1 year, he's going to make a simple interest of 0.14x. So in this arrangement, in 1 year, he's going to make 0.36x plus x plus 0.14x, which is 1.5x. How much time will it take for him to accumulate an interest which is greater than or equal to his initial capital? If that time required is t, 1.5x into t will be greater than or equal to 30x, or t will be greater than or equal to 20 years. So the minimum amount of time is 20 years. In this question, we are told that Manu earns 4,000 rupees per month and his monthly expense for the first 9 months is 3,500. So monthly savings for the first 9 months is 4,000 minus 3,500, which is equal to 500. So the total savings for the first 9 months will be 500 into 9. Let us assume for the last 3 months he is saving S rupees every month. So in the last 3 months he would save 3s. So the total savings will be 500 into 9 plus 3s. He wants his average savings to be 550 per month. So in the year his total savings will be 550 into 12. 500 into 9 is 4,500 plus 3s is equal to 550 into 12, which is equal to 6,600. Or the value of 3s is equal to 2,100, or the value of s is equal to 700. So in the last 3 months, he has to save at least 700 per month. His expenses in the last 3 months is 3,700 per month. So his earnings in the last 3 months should be 3,700 plus 700, which is equal to 4,400. So the answer for this case is option A. In this question, we are told that there are 2 ships which meet in the middle of the ocean. One ship goes south, that is one ship is going this way, and the other ship goes west, that is it is going this way. After 2 hours, they are 60 kilometers apart. So this distance is given to be equal to 60. If the speed of one of the ships is x kilometers per hour more than the other one, so let us assume that the speed of the slower boat is x, the speed of the faster boat will be x plus 6. In 2 hours, the slower boat will travel 2x and the faster boat will travel 2x plus 12. So this will be say 2x and this is 2x plus 12. They form a right angle triangle. The length of the hypotenuse is 60. So using Pythagoras theorem, we can calculate the value of x. So 2x whole square, which is 4x square, plus 2x plus 12 whole square is equal to 60 square. We can divide the entire equation with 4. So x square plus x plus 6 whole square is equal to 30 square. Or x square plus 12x plus 36, this is x plus 6 whole square, plus an x square at the start, this is equal to 900. You can simplify this as x square plus 6x minus 432 is equal to 0, or this is x plus 24 into x minus 18 is equal to 0. So the value of x will be equal to 18 kilometers per hour. So the speed of the slower boat is 18 kilometers per hour. The speed of the faster boat is 24 kilometers per hour. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that there is an election in which 4 candidates contested and 80% of the registered voters casted their vote. Let the total number of registered voters be equal to 100x. So the number of votes that are cast is 80% of it, which is 80x. Out of this, one of the candidates got 30% of the votes. So the number of votes that this candidate got will be 30% of 80x, which is equal to 24x. So what happens to the remaining 80x minus 24x, which is equal to 56x? This is distributed amongst the remaining 3 candidates in the ratio 1:2:3. So the candidate who got this proportion 3, the number of votes that he has secured will be 3 divided by 1 plus 2 plus 3 into 56x. This is 3 by 6 into 56x, so this is 28x. This guy will be getting 2 by 6 into 56x, which is approximately 18 2 by 3x. And this guy will get 1 by 6 into 56x, which is equal to 28x by 3. So the candidate who won the election by getting the maximum number of votes got 28x, and the candidate who came second got 24x. The difference between both of them is 4x. This we are told is equal to 2512, or the value of x is 628. Therefore, the total number of registered voters, which is 100x, will be equal to 628 into 100, which is 62,800, which is option D. In this question, we are told that working alone, the times taken by Anu, Tanu and Manu, they are in the ratio of 5:8:10. So their efficiencies, or the amount of work that they do in 1 hour, will be in the inverse ratio of their times taken. That is, the efficiency or the amount of work that they do will be in the ratio 1/5:1/8:1/10. To remove the denominators, let us multiply the efficiencies with 40, which is the LCM of 5, 8 and 10. So if you are multiplying all of them with 40, the efficiency or the amount of work done by Anu, Tanu and Manu is in the ratio of 8, which is 40 by 5, is to 5, which is 40 by 8, is to 4, which is 40 by 10. This is the amount of work that they do in 1 hour. This is the ratio. So let us assume that Anu does 8 units in 1 hour. Tanu does 5 units in 1 hour. And Manu does 4 units in 1 hour. Now they accept a job which they can finish in 4 days if all of them work together 8 hours per day. That is, the total amount of hours that they work together will be 4 into 8, which is 32. And the amount of work that they do cumulatively in 1 hour will be 8 plus 5 plus 4, which is 17. So the total work that needs to be done is 32 into 17 is the total work that needs to be done, which is equal to 32 into 17 can be calculated. This is 320 plus 32 into 7 is 224. This is equal to 544. This is the total work that needs to be done, 544 units. Now initially we are told that only Anu and Tanu work. If Anu and Tanu are working, every hour they will be doing 8 plus 5, which is 13 units. And they work for 6 days. And every day they work for 6 hours and 40 minutes. 6 hours and 40 minutes is 6, 2 by 3. So the total work that these two women have finished will be 13 into 6 into 6, 2 by 3. 6, 2 by 3 is 20 by 3. This is 2. This is 13 into 40, which is 540. So the work remaining is equal to 24 units. And this work has to be done by Manu alone. Manu does 4 units per hour. So the time that she takes will be 24 divided by 4, which is 6 hours. This will be the answer. In this question, we are told that there are 2 containers which have the same volume. First one is half filled with the sugar syrup and the second one is half filled with milk. Let us assume that the volume of the first container, which is equal to the volume of the second container, is equal to 100x. Both of them are half filled. So first one has 50x, this is sugar syrup. The second one has 50x, this is milk. Half of the contents of the first container are transferred to the second container. What is half of the contents of the first container? That will be 25x. So 25x will be the sugar syrup in the second container and 50x will be the milk in the second container, and 25x remaining will be the sugar syrup of the first container. This is after the first transfer of half of the contents is done. And half of this mixture is transferred back to the first container. If half of this mixture is transferred back, half of the sugar syrup is transferred back and half of the milk is transferred back. So we'll have 25x, which is initially the sugar syrup in the first container, plus half of 25x comes back. So we have plus 12.5x. And we have half of 50x milk which comes back. So this will be 25x. So the sugar syrup in the first container will be 25x plus 12.5x, which is 37.5x. Milk in the first container will be 25x. In the second container, sugar syrup will be half of 25x, which will be 12.5x. and milk will be 25x. This is after this transfer is done. Next, again half of the contents of the first container are transferred back to the second container. Again half of milk is transferred, half of sugar syrup is transferred. So in the first container, the sugar syrup that will be remaining will be half of 37.5x, which is 18.75x, and milk that will be remaining is half of 25x, which is 12.5x. And the sugar syrup in the second container will be 12.5x, which was there originally before this transfer, plus it gets half of 37.5, so that is 18.75x. And milk, it has 25x initially, and it gets half of 25x, which is 12.5x. So the total sugar syrup in the second container will be 12.5x plus 18.75x, which is 31.25x. And milk will be 25x plus 12.5x, which is 37.5x. This is the ratio of the sugar syrup to milk in the second container. You can cancel x on both sides. To remove decimals, let us multiply the numerator and denominator with 4. 31.25 into 4 is 125. 37.5 into 4 is 150. Now you can divide the numerator and denominator with 25. So the required ratio is 5:6. So the answer for this question is option D. In this question, we are told that a and b are non-negative real numbers such that a plus 2b is equal to 6. We are asked to calculate the average of the maximum and minimum possible values of a plus b. As a plus 2b is equal to 6, the value of a plus b is equal to 6 minus b. Now, a plus b is maximized when b is minimized, and a plus b is minimized when b is maximized. Now, what is the value of a plus b? What is the maximum value? This will happen when b is minimized, and b is minimized, it will equal 0. So a plus b maximum value is 6. Similarly, a plus b is minimized when b is maximized. And what is the maximum value of b? Because we know that a plus 2b is equal to 6. b is maximized when a is equal to 0. In that case, 2b will be equal to 6 or b will be equal to 3. So the maximum possible value of b is 3. And therefore, the minimum possible value of a plus b will be 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3. So the average of 6 and 3 will be 4.5. So the correct answer is option D. In this question, we are told that there are 5 students, including Amit, who appeared in an examination, and they scored marks between 0 and 50, both of them inclusive. We are told that exactly 3 of the students scored more than 32, and the average of the 5 students is 38. We are required to calculate the maximum possible marks of Amit, who scored the least, and the minimum possible marks of Amit, and we are required to calculate the difference between these 2 marks. Let us first calculate the minimum possible score for Amit. What is the information that we know? The average of the 5 students is 38. So the total marks of the 5 students is 38 into 5, which is equal to 190. We have 32 over here. More than 32, we have only 3 people. Now we are trying to minimize the score for Amit in the first case. So we have to maximize the score of the remaining 4 people. Because the total is fixed, the total is 190. If you are trying to maximize the scores of the remaining 4 people, the first guy, the highest guy, will score 50, which is the maximum allowed. Because the scores are distinct, the second highest will be 49. And the third highest will be 48. Now the fourth highest, because only 3 people scored more than 32, this guy will score exactly 32, the fourth highest, because there is also a condition that only 3 people scored more than 32. Now what is the maximum possible sum of these 4 scores? That will be 50 plus 49 plus 48 plus 32. 32 plus 48 is 80, 50 plus 49 is 99. So the sum of these 4 scores, the maximum possible sum is 179. So the minimum possible score for Amit is 190 minus 179, which is equal to 11. Now let us try to maximize Amit's score. Maximizing the score for Amit is actually much more easier, because the only condition that we have to keep in mind is that only 3 people scored more than 32. So if you are looking at the maximum possible score for Amit. This is the maximum possible score for Amit. This is maximized if the fourth highest score, that is this guy, scores 32 and Amit scores just one less, which is 31. Now the sum of their two scores is 63, which is 31 plus 32. So these remaining three guys have to score 127. And this can be done in multiple ways. One simple example is because 127 is the average will be around 42.33. We can say that this guy scored 41, this guy scored 42, and the highest is 44. These three will sum up to 127. As you can imagine, there are multiple cases possible. This can be 40, this can be 45. We are just required to ensure that the top three guys, all of them score above 32, all of them score distinct numbers, and their sum has to equal 127, which is possible in multiple ways. In this particular case, the maximum possible value for Amit is 31. So the difference between the maximum possible and minimum possible score of Amit is 31 minus 11, which is equal to 20, which is option D.
Google search Cracku CAT formulas PDF. Click on the first link. You will get a list of topics for CAT. Click on one of the topics. Download the PDF to get a list of formulas for the topic.
In this question, we are told that N people worked on a project and they finished 35% of the project by working for 7 hours a day for 10 days. So what is the total number of hours these guys have worked? These guys have worked for 7 into 10, which is equal to 70 hours. Let us assume that one man or one person over here does 1 unit of work per hour. So in this 70 hours, the total work that is done is equal to 70n, because n people worked for 70 hours. Now they have completed 35% of the work. This is 35% of the work, or the total work that needs to be done, the actual work that has to be done is equal to 70n divided by 35%, which is equal to 200n. So out of this 200n, they have done 70n. So work remaining is equal to 130n. Now this is done by n minus 10 people, because 10 people have left the group. So the number of people remaining is n minus 10. And what is the total number of hours that they worked? They worked for 14 days for 10 hours a day. So the total work that has been done is n minus 10 into 140. This is equal to 130 into n, which is the work remaining. Using this equation, we can calculate the value of n. This will be 140n minus 1400 is equal to 130n, or the value of 10n is equal to 1400, or the value of n is equal to 140. So the number of people who are working is equal to 140. In this question, we are told that there are 500 cc of milk. So initially the volume of milk is 500 cc. And this is in one cup, and another cup contains water. The volume of water is also 500 cc. Now some mixing happened from one cup to another cup, and finally we ended up with different solutions in both of them. We are required to calculate the ratio of milk in one container to that of water in the other container. Now this seems like a very tricky question, but this is actually a very simple question with a very elegant answer. Now this is commonly asked, and knowing this concept is very important. If you think about the total volume in the glass, this is initially the glass and this is the cup. Let us first only look at the volume in the glass and volume in the cup. We won't look at the split between milk and water. We just know that the amount of milk at the start is 500 cc and the amount of water at the start is 500 cc. That is, the initial volumes of both of them are the same. Initially 150 cc of milk is transferred to the cup and mixed thoroughly. So the volume in the glass is 300 cc. Volume in the cup is 650 cc. This is a solution, but the volume is 650 cc. Next, 150 cc from the mixer is transferred from the cup to the glass. So again this will have 500 cc and this will have 500 cc. But now both of them are solutions. They are not pure milk or pure water. Now what is the amount of water in the glass to the amount of milk in the cup? This is the ratio we are going to calculate. Now if you think about it, this 500 cc is a mixture. It has some milk. Let the amount of milk be m. Therefore, the amount of water will be 500 minus m, because that is the total volume in the glass. The total volume in the glass is 500 cc. Suppose it contains m cc of milk. The remaining will be water, which is 500 minus m. Now, what is the amount of milk in the cup? We know that initially the amount of milk is 500 cc, of which m is in the glass. So, the amount of milk in the cup will be 500 minus m. And therefore, the amount of water will be m. This is milk and this is water. Now, you don't need to really calculate the value of m. That is not needed. What is known and what is certain is that the amount of milk in one container will be equal to the amount of water in the other one. And similarly, the amount of water in one container is equal to the amount of milk in the other. This is true because initially both milk and water were of the same capacity, and the volumes at the end is also the same. So, in this particular case, the ratio of the amount of water in the glass, which is 500 minus m, to the amount of milk in the cup, which is also 500 minus m, this ratio is equal to 1:1. So, the answer for this question is option A. In this question, we are told that Neetu has an initial capital of 20,000. Out of this, she invests 8,000 at 5.5% in bank A, 5,000 at 5.6% in bank B, and the remaining amount at X% in bank C. What is the remaining amount? Initially, she has 20,000, 8,000 and 5,000 if you are deducting, that is if you are deducting 13,000, you will be left with 7,000. So, she invested 7,000 at X% in bank C. So, what is the total interest that she will get in 1 year? That will be 8,000 into 5.5% plus 5,000 into 5.6% plus 7,000 into X%. This we are told is equal to the overall interest rate is 5%. That is, this is equivalent to getting 5% on the entire 20,000. Using this, we can calculate the value of X%. We can cancel 1,000 from each one of them. We can cancel this percentage from each one of them. So, the right hand side becomes 20 into 5, which is 100. The left hand side is 8 into 5.5, which is 44, plus 5 into 5.6, which is 28, plus 7x. Or the value of 7x is equal to 100 minus 72, which is 28, or the value of x is 4. So, the rate of interest of X% is 4%. If she had invested the entire amount at X%, the total interest she would have received will be 20,000 into 4%, which is 4 by 100 into 1 year. This will be equal to 200 into 4, which is 800. So, the answer is option B. In this question, we are told that there are two cars which are at different locations and they are traveling at different speeds. Let us assume that this is the distance between both the cars. Let the speed of the first car be A and the speed of the second car be B. Let the distance between them be equal to S. If they are moving towards each other, they take 1.5 hours to travel to each other. So, they will meet over here. Let us assume that A is greater than B. So, what we know is that when they are traveling towards each other, their relative speed is A plus B. So, S divided by A plus B is equal to 1.5 hours. But if they are moving away from each other, the relative speed will be A minus B. So, S divided by A minus B is equal to 10.5. Using this, we can calculate the ratio of A and B. We will be told that if you divide one equation from the other, A plus B divided by A minus B is equal to 10.5 divided by 1.5, which is equal to 7, or A plus B is equal to 7A minus 7B, or the value of 6A is equal to 8B, or the value of A is equal to 4 by 3 into B. As the value of B is given to be 60 kilometers per hour, the value of A will be 80 kilometers per hour. What we are required to calculate is the distance that the slower car travels when it is meeting the other car while traveling in the same direction. Now, to actually calculate this answer, you don't need to solve it. You don't need to calculate the speed of the faster car, because you know that in the first instance, they meet after 1.5 hours and the speed of the slower car is given to be 60 kilometers per hour. So, this distance will be 60 into 1.5, which is equal to 90 kilometers. So, to answer this question, you can directly mark it as 90, But if the question actually asks what is the distance traveled by the faster car, not the slower car, then we need to calculate the speed of the faster car, which we have calculated as 80 kilometers per hour. So this distance will be 80 into 1.5 hours, which is 120 kilometers. But in this particular case, we are asked the distance traveled by the slower car, so that will be 90 kilometers per hour, which is option B. In this question, we are told that there are two sections, A and B. The average of A is 32, the average of B is 60. We are told that the number of students in B is 10 more than the number of students in A. So if you assume that there are A students in A, the number of students in B is A plus 10. Therefore, the total number of students in both the sections together will be 2A plus 10. And what is the total marks that they scored? That will be 32 into A, which is 32A, plus 60 into A plus 10, which is 60A plus 600, divided by 2A plus 10. This is equal to 92A plus 600 divided by 2A plus 10. We can divide the numerator and denominator with 2. This is equal to 46A plus 300 divided by A plus 5. Because we have A plus 5 in the denominator, let us express 46A plus 300 as 46A plus 230 plus 70 divided by A plus 5. The reason for that is because 46A plus 230 is 46 times A plus 5. So this can be simplified to equal 46 plus 70 divided by A plus 5. Now this is an integer. That is told to us that the average of both the sections is also an integer. So 70 divided by A plus 5 has to be an integer. So A plus 5 has to be a factor of 70. What are the factors of 70? The factors of 70 are 1, 2, 5, 7, 10, 14, 35 and 70. Now A plus 5 can be one of them, but because A plus 5 will clearly be greater than 5, as the number of students in section A will be at least equal to 1, A plus 5 cannot be 1 or 2 or 5. So the smallest value of A plus 5 is equal to 7, in which case A is equal to 2, and the largest value of A plus 5 is equal to 70, in which case A is equal to 65. So the difference between the smallest value that A can take and the largest value that A can take is 65 minus 2, which is equal to 63. In this question, we are told that there is a person called Moody who takes 30 seconds to finish riding an escalator by traveling at his normal speed in the same direction. Let us assume that the speed of Moody is s steps per second and the speed of the escalator is e steps per second. So he is going like this. He travels for 30 seconds, so he is going to cover 30s. In those 30 seconds, the escalator will cover 30e. So the total steps on the escalator T is equal to 30s plus 30e. We are told that he takes 20 seconds to finish riding the escalator if he walks at twice his normal speed. If he is walking at twice his normal speed, he is going to cover 2s steps per second. So in 20 seconds, he is going to cover 40s. And in 20 seconds, the escalator will cover 20e. So the total steps is also equal to 40s plus 20e. If you are equating both of them, you will figure out that 10s is equal to 10e, or s is equal to e, or the speed, the normal speed of Moody is equal to the normal speed of the escalator, and the total steps t is equal to 60s, which is equal to 60e. Now if he is just standing on the escalator, he is not moving and he is just going forward because of the escalator, the time that he takes to finish riding the escalator will be 60e divided by e, which is equal to 60 seconds. So the answer for this question is 60. In this question, we are told that there are two ships which are approaching the port in a straight line at constant speeds. and they initially form an equilateral triangle. So suppose this is how the equilateral triangle looks. This is the port and this is ship 1 and this is ship 2. Of side 24 kilometers. So this is the port, this is ship 1, this is ship 2. The length of the equilateral triangle is 24, 24 and 24. So this will be equal to 60 degrees. They are coming towards the port in a straight line. Now we are told that when the slower ship traveled 8 kilometers, so this will be 8 kilometers and this will be 16 because the distance initially is 24. The triangle formed by the positions of the two ships and the port became a right angle triangle. So let us assume that this is how the new triangle is. This is the ship 1's new position, this is the ship 2's new position, this is a right angle triangle. We know that one of the degrees is 60 degrees, this is same as the angle of the original equilateral triangle, the other one is 90 degrees, so this will be 30 degrees. So this would tell us that the distance of the second ship from the port can be easily calculated. This is 16 is the hypotenuse of this right angle triangle, so this will be 16 into sine 30. Sine 30 is equal to 1 by 2, so this is equal to 8 kilometers. Or the distance that the second ship has traveled till now is 16 kilometers. So in the same time, the slower ship traveled 8 kilometers, the faster ship traveled 16 kilometers. So when the faster ship reaches the shore, it would have covered 24 kilometers. And in that time, the distance that the slower ship would have covered will be 24 divided by 2, which is equal to 12 kilometers. And it would have reached somewhere over here. This would tell us that the distance of the slower ship from the port by the time the faster ship reaches the port will be equal to 12 kilometers, which is 24 minus 12. So the answer for this question is option B. In this question, we are told that Bob can finish a job in 40 days. So Bob or B takes 40 days to finish a job. Alex is twice as fast as Bob. So Alex, because he's twice as fast, he'll take half the number of days. So he'll finish the job in 20 days. And Alex is thrice as fast as Cole. Or Cole, because he's 3 times as slow as Alex, will take 60 days to complete the job. Now when you're solving these kind of questions, it is important to compare the efficiency of people. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the LCM of 20, 40 and 60, which is equal to 120 units. So if the total work that needs to be done is 120 units, Bob will do, because he is taking 40 days to do 120 units of work, every day he does 3 units per day. Alex will take 20 days to do 120 units of work, so every day he does 6 units per day. And Cole takes 60 days to do 120 units of work, so every day he does 2 units per day. On the first day, Alex and Bob work. On the second day, Bob and Cole will work. And on the third day, Alex and Cole will work. If Alex and Bob are working, the amount of work that they'll do in one day will be 3 plus 6, which is 9 units. On the second day, Bob and Cole will work, so they will complete 3 plus 2, which is 5 units. And on the third day, Alex and Cole will work, so they will finish 8 units. Now, if they work for 3 days, the total work that they'll do is 9 plus 5 plus 8, which is 22 units. This is the amount of work that they'll do in 3 days. The total work that needs to be done is 120 units. So after 5 such cycles, the total work that will be completed is 110 units. So 15 days have elapsed. This is 3 into 5. And in 15 days, they do 110 units of work. On the 16th day, Alex and Bob will work. They will complete 9 units of work. So the total work that is done is 119 units. And on the 17th day, the total work will be finished. 17th day, Bob and Cole will work. They can complete 5 units of work. So they can easily complete the remaining 1 unit of work, and then the work is finished. In these 17 days, what is the number of days that Alex has worked? The number of days Alex has worked is, in these 5 cycles, in every cycle, Alex works on the first day and the third day. So he's working on 10 days. And he's working on the 16th day. That is, Alex plus Bob will work. So the total number of days Alex has worked is 11.